Hello everyone, it's Tracy here, back with another video tutorial. Today I'm going to be using these outline stickers from Crazy Creations. They are a bunch of coffee cups and coffee beans. So I have a piece of this adhesive, and this is double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to stick one side, remove the backing, and stick that on just a piece of white cardstock. And then I am going to put a bunch of glitter over this sticker, so that adhesive is what is going to hold that glitter into place. So I'm just going over that with my bone folder to make sure that it's completely down, and then I went ahead and trimmed it off, and now I'm removing the adhesive from the other side. So then I'm going to pick up one of my stickers and then place that right down on the adhesive cardstock. And there is transfer tape that you can use, because you can see it's a little bit hard to handle, and just to make sure that it goes down the right way. So you can use that transfer tape, but I am just using my fingers to do that. I went ahead and pushed down and made sure that it was really well secured on there. And then I have this Microfine glitter Ritz, and it is a cool highlight. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump that all over that adhesive and the sticker and make sure that it's covered in all of the areas. And then I'll kind of take my finger and try to rub some of that in to make sure that it's all covered, and then dump off the excess onto my cardstock so that I can dump it back into my jar. So now I'm just burnishing this with my finger, and this is what really makes the sparkle kind of come alive, and it removes all the excess glitter. And then I'm going to take my Copic markers and color these in. So I'm starting with the E31, and when I'm coloring over the glitter, I like to use the chisel tip just so that the glitter does not damage my markers at all. I don't think it really will, but I just want to be sure because they are really expensive markers. And then I'll take my E33 and kind of add some shading in to the sides of that coffee cup. And when I was doing this, a little bit of the glitter did end up on my markers, so I would just have to wipe those off after I was done using it each time. So then I'm just going back in with the E31 and kind of blending those two colors back together. Now you could do this, you could, instead of putting it on white cardstock, you could put it on pattern paper, and then you wouldn't even have to color them in, because the adhesive is clear, obviously, so then the pattern paper would show right through. And then for the coffee sleeve, I'm using BG15. And you can tell with this one, I'm not really like scraping the marker across. I'm just kind of dabbing it on there, and the color actually, it works fine. The color picks up, or the paper picks up the color just as well, and that way you don't get as much glitter on your marker tip. But I am still using the chisel tips with this, just because I don't color with that side, so that side wouldn't be as big of a deal to me if it got damaged. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the BG18 and again just add some darker shading to both the sides of that coffee sleeve. And then I'm going back in with my BG15 and just trying to blend both of those colors out. Now these don't blend as well as just coloring with Copic markers, so that's just something you kind of have to keep in the back of your mind when you are doing this. It's not going to be perfect. So then for the lid, I'm using the C1 marker, and then adding a little bit of shading with the C3. And then I wanted a little bit darker, so I decided to go in with some C5. And I apologize if I'm trying to like if I sound a little different, I'm trying to talk quiet because we got a new kitten and she's sleeping right now and I'm really trying not to wake her up. So I'm just trying to be as quiet as I can. So I'm just blending those back together with the C1 marker. And then I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this out. And I decided to keep this part on camera. Usually I cut out when I'm fussy cutting because I think it's boring. I wouldn't want to watch me cut. But I decided to leave it in just so you could see how I did fussy cut this right to the sticker. But I didn't cut any of the sticker off. If you wanted to keep the white border on this, you just want to make sure that there was a little bit of glitter around the outside of that, because otherwise it's just going to be the sticky adhesive. But you could definitely leave a white border around the edge like I typically do with my stamped images. And I'm using the Cutter Bee non-stick scissors. That way, if there is any of the adhesive that doesn't have glitter on it, it's not going to stick to my scissors. And these work extremely well. I actually use them even if I'm not cutting adhesive or anything like that. Alright, so after I fussy cut that out, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my background. I just have a piece of white cardstock and I'm using this bubbly stencil from Mr. Huey's and Studio Calico. I'm not actually sure if this is still available. If it is, it will be linked below. But I've had this for quite some time and I know it's an older stencil, so you might be able to find it in some places, but I'm not sure if it's available still on on Simon Says Stamp. So I'm taking the Abandoned Coral and I'm going to ink that up in the center of my stencil and cardstock, and I'm inking up this entire piece. And then I'm going to go in on each side with the Fired Brick, which is kind of like a darker red color. They almost look really similar when they're next to each other on the stencil, but I like the little bit of difference that there is. It's kind of like a little highlight in the center of that cardstock. So I'm using the same thing, the Fired Brick, on the left side of that Abandoned Coral. And then I'm going to go back in with the Abandoned Coral and go over the center part again, just to make sure that that color really pops forward, and that actually makes it really a lot darker. And I like the look of kind of layering even the same color on top of one another. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and you can see how that center part is a lot brighter than the edges. So now I have a white A2 size card base, and I'm going to add this piece on at a diagonal. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of that. And then I'll place it at a diagonal, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim off the sides on those. Alright, so then I'm going to place my coffee cup, and I'm using the Love You a Latte stamp set from Lawn Fawn. It goes perfectly with these stickers. And I'm using the one that says Love You a Latte. And I decided to go with the red and turquoise just because they are more complementary colors, like red and green. But I didn't want to use green, so I chose the turquoise, and I think they complement each other really nice, and I like the sentiment with that. So then to the back of my coffee cup, I'm adding some 3D foam squares. These are the large ones from Best Creation. And then I'm removing the backings, and then I can go ahead and stick that right onto my card base. Alright, and then the last step, I'm going to add some enamel dots. I have some from My Mind's Eye and some from Doodlebug. So I'm using the turquoise ones and then the white ones. And I'm just randomly scattering those about, and I think they look really nice with the bubbly stencil in the background. Alright, and then that is my finished card for today. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial on coloring over glitter with your Copic markers. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And then I will also link below on my blog right now. I am giving away a $20 gift card to Simon Says Stamps. So you can head on over there and enter. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!